slide 2, let's start there. Business objective lead generation. So think about what you're choosing for your marketing campaign. What should your content marketing accomplish? That's exactly what it'd come back to. Remember we talked about, let me go back here and make sure I can see. Remember we talked about indirect and direct? That's the big thing. Make sure you know exactly what the role of your content is. What is it supposed to do? Is it supposed to drive purchases? Is it supposed to drive traffic to the site? Is it supposed to drive conversions? Figure out exactly what the purpose is and don't fluff it. Let's say it has multiple purposes. Say, yeah, it has multiple purposes. It's part of the discover phase. It's part of the early learn. It's part of the late learner. Try by. Maybe even use this. So yeah, I'm building content to do exactly this. There's nothing wrong with just, with stealing that. Okay. Next thing is key performance indicators, metrics for campaigns and KPIs. How will you measure your content effectiveness? What are data points that make sense of why? Okay. We just talked about that one too. Make sure that you can measure the effectiveness. No fluff. I was in a meeting. I learned this real quick when I was a junior marketer at Rackspace. And I'd be in the room with what I call the full horsemen. They're scary people. That means product, finance, sales, and marketing, right? All 4 of those people in the room. And they all don't want to see the same thing. Marketing wants to see the qualitative, nice, fluffy stuff where customers are happy. Sales wants to know how much money you need. Finance wants to know how much money you need and whether there's a return on investment. Product wants to know if the product was effective or not and the customer was able to relate to it. So how do you effectively sell one slide to all 4 people in that group? You show the KPI and you show the return on investment. You show numbers, right? What are the key performance indicators? What are the things that are most important to them? So decide with your content strategy what is most important. Is it return on investment? Is it clicks? Is it engagement? What? Find out what is that most important KPI and use that moving forward. Cool. Next one. Campaign impact and forecast. Insert thoughts around what impact your campaign will make on the business, will grow, improve the results. Campaign. Okay, yeah. That's exactly what it is. So come back to the same thing. Are we driving traffic? Are we getting people? Is the ultimate goal of the content is to get people at the top of the funnel? Are you feeding the funnel? Are you driving people down the funnel? Or are you getting people to convert? That's back here, right, to the stage of the sales cycle. Figure out exactly what the role of your content is. Maybe it has multiple purposes. Maybe it doesn't. Or maybe you build out one of these things to where you look at, hey, I have these different pieces of content. Each one of these will support each of these different stages of the sales cycle. Be creative in how you show that. Very cool. Next one. Content pieces. Your content can be mock-up. This is, in other words, what you're trying to accomplish. In other words, this part is where you try and get buy-in. Okay. Now, when you show mock-ups, this is a big one. Make it look pretty. Don't half-ass this, right? Even if you have to go and like copy and paste images off of somebody else's work and then Photoshop it in there or do whatever, do it, right? But just make sure that the display ad looks like a display ad. If you put in a call to action, be ready to talk about why you put that call to action, right? Something to be wary about, even in today's day and age, is ADA compliance. So the American Disabilities Act, don't put red, brown, and green on the exact same slide. Why? Because people are red-green colorblind. They're going to look at it and it's going to look like a blob of brown. So be wary of what you're starting to do with your ADA compliance when you start to do content, especially ones with a lot of colors. So say, for instance, you have something that's red-green. Let's say it's a Christmas ad. You have a red display ad and it has a green call to action. Somebody who's colorblind will not even see that call to action. It'll disappear inside of that display ad. Don't do that to yourself, right? So make sure your images look really good. Next. Who's your audience? What are your objectives? And from
I just responded yes.
Okay.
I was going to ask, does this, just while you're reading that,
Sure.
Jeremy, does this make sense so far to everyone? And do y'all want to also take the time to, there's going to be one group that has 3 people in it. So do y'all want to take also the time? We only have about 15 minutes. Do y'all want to take the time to do that now? Or is this something that y'all are going to follow up with me on maybe tomorrow to get that done?
Like pick the groups. Yeah, they can do it now if you want. Go for it.
Well, earlier I was asking that question as well, and it seems like Robbie was open. So if you're okay, I can join you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would just have to talk to my manager first, right? I mean, like, we have to just, see if we could use our platform first. I would just have to ask her because they're kind of strict on that. But yeah, if she says okay, I mean, anyone's open to join.
Okay, so Masood and Robbie, and then who? You want one more person to join your team, and then Robbie.
I'll join your team. I'm joking. Yeah, screw that. I don't want it.
Robbie, just I guess get back to us by tomorrow,
Okay.
and then we can. You know what? We can't even move forward until we can know for sure. So get back to us, Robbie. Y'all want to talk amongst yourselves and decide who works with who.
Yeah.
And then everyone, if Masood, tomorrow you get me a list of who's going to be working with who.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do y'all still want to continue on with the rest of the slides, like slide 5 and 6?
I would. I think this is valuable time because we got who's going to be grading it, Jeremy, right now, digging into the slides, and I think this is a good time for us to get it.
Perfect. Awesome. Mm-hmm. I also added notes. I don't know if y'all are looking.
Okay.
I'm adding notes there too.
Okay, so based on the audiences and the buyer personas, just remember when you're building out a buyer persona, the best thing to do is to give that person a name. I don't suggest Karen, because obviously that's being overused right now. Like Bob. Yeah, Bob or Lisa or Fred or Dirk or some other strange name, right? Give that person a picture. Go and do a generic image, like a Getty image or Adobe stock image or something like that. Find that generic image, give that person a name, and then give that person a buyer persona. The best way to do it is to first write a little tiny paragraph about who that person is. And if I were to say, describe your buyer persona, I'd want a couple sentence paragraph of tell me who that person is. You would say, well, let's say TVs. I'll give you an example of a random buyer persona that I'm creating. Bob, right? Some dude. Say Bob is a mid-20s guy who just got his first job, and he's excited because he moved into a new apartment, and definitely he's a big gamer and definitely wants to furnish it with a really new TV. So Bob is interested in a TV that he can use for his new PS5 that he's getting, as well as for watching Spurs playoff games if they make the playoffs in Orlando. That's a buyer persona paragraph. After that, then you go into details of what makes Bob feel good, what makes Bob sad, right? So here's an example of what makes Bob feel good. Bob feels good when he sees a discount. Bob feels good when he sees a deal, right, or a promotion. Bob feels good because he likes to buy high end, right? Bob feels sad when he feels like he got duped. Bob feels sad when he feels like, he has the same TV as everybody else. So far, that should give you an idea of exactly what kind of TV he wants to buy, right? Then, things you should say and things you should never say, right? So what are some things you should never say to somebody? I'm going to get here. I want you guys to answer. Based on Bob liking high-end TVs at a discounted price, because he wants something that's unique. What are some key words that you would never, ever use in your content writing that Bob never wants to hear?
Cheap.
Exactly. I was hoping you would say that. Don't use the word cheap, ever. Discount is a good word. Don't use cheap. Use discount, right? Use promotion. So in that, as the content writer, when you're building out your buyer personas and your target audiences, know exactly what word you should stay away from and which word you should keep to. If you write that in the slide and you present that to somebody, they're going to say, holy crap, you thought of everything. You know exactly who you're targeting. You know exactly how to trigger them emotionally because people buy emotionally, right? And you also know which words to completely stay away from and which words to use and to overuse. So good stuff. Good suggestion, Jeff/Jeffrey. Okay. Campaign timeline was a schedule for rolling out this campaign. Sadly and ironically enough, we did that here. We focus on that a lot, right? It's the painstaking thing where we said, how long is it going to take you to do it? So that way you don't create some BS and say, yeah, we're going to create a brand new set of display ads in 3 days. Nobody can, right? And display ads have to follow the IAB standards. So what? That's like on average, like 4 or 5 different ads, or 5 to 7 now. 5 to 7 different ad types. So, make sense on that? Yes.
And then I think this is a good stopping point for you. What's going to happen, guys, is the next slides are going to be based on like the rest of the instructors. Everyone's going to put in their 2 cents as they teach you, and we go move forward with the rest of the module. Ben Staley is going to be grading them. So I'll be sure to connect with him and let him know that Jeremy spoke to you about slides 1 through 7.
So
2 through 7. Mm-hmm.
Have you guys worked with Ben Staley yet or not?
They're barely going to meet him.
He is a bad